Hi everyone, it's Tawney. In my videos on my channel here, I like to keep things very drugstore themed. I like to keep things very low price range, try and find you the best deals, the best makeup you can find, but at a low cost. And I know a lot of people like to think that drugstore makeup isn't as good. There's not a whole lot to choose from. I only have certain stores to shop from. And I wanted to do sort of a deep dive on what products can you get at certain stores, what's the best products to get at certain stores, what do I do if this is the only store around me that I can shop from. So I wanted to focus mainly today on Dollar General. In my area, Dollar General is the closest store I can get to that sells makeup within a 20-minute radius. If you go like 10 minutes one way, there's a Dollar General, nothing past that for like 45 minutes. If you go the other direction, there's a Dollar General within 10 minutes. And then you have to go another 10 minutes to get to any other kind of shopping, CVS, Ulta, Walmart, those types of stores. But we generally don't have a whole lot of places to shop from for makeup. And sometimes there's not a whole lot to choose from. Sometimes you don't have a whole lot of money to spend. So I wanted to keep things very low budget, but still good quality makeup, something that you can actually be excited about finding, buying, wearing, and finding new makeup to love at the same time. So let's get started with the primer. I don't actually have the primer, but I will put pictures up of things I don't have. The primer I picked was the CoverGirl True Blend Base Business Face Primer. I have used the pore filling primer. I've also used one that was sort of just a basic hydrating primer, I think it was, which helps keep your skin looking very nice, hydrated and dewy, but without looking overly dewy and glossy and like you're sweating your makeup off, but sort of just like a healthy glow without being too matte, because I know sometimes people don't want a matte look. I think they're all really good primers. It's a very good range, and they range around $7 to $8, give or take, so you can always find one that's like decently priced. For foundation, I have different foundations here just in case you have different options at your Dollar General. Certain Dollar Generals in my area, they pop up like pimples. They're everywhere. I mean, the closest one to me, I kind of went off of that one and then another one in my area just to see like what the differences are. Some might have more products than others. I didn't really incorporate a whole lot of Believe Beauty products, but I do think that they are good. I just haven't tried a whole lot of them. Plus, my Dollar General personally doesn't carry Believe Beauty, so I went by what, like, if your Dollar General has bottom of the barrel and you're just left picking through whatever they have, it's kind of what what I'm here to help you with. So I think the best option, it's not technically the best option, but the best one you can find is the Maybelline Matte and Poreless foundation. It looks like this. When you take it off, it has the top where you have to kind of like pour it onto your hand, pour it onto something. Like if you have a like a palette type thing, you can pour it onto that and then put it on your face. They also make one that's in dewy, and it's dewy and something, and I've heard that one is really good too. I just haven't personally tried it because I prefer a matte look. When I got this, I preferred a matte look for sure, so I just kind of stick with this one. This is a really nice foundation. If you can find other Maybelline foundations other than that one, I would also recommend the Maybelline, oh my gosh, Super Stay Full Coverage Foundation. I should know this makeup by heart. This is my favorite foundation. But this one I would recommend over the Matte and Poreless, but only because this one gives you a more fresh look without being too dewy. Because I know sometimes people don't want matte, but they don't want dewy. So this is sort of a nice in-between, a little bit lower than the L'Oreal Infallible Fresh Wear Foundation, if you have tried that one before. But this one is a really nice one. I'd also recommend the Maybelline Dream Urban Cover. This is a full coverage product. It's not moussey in the way that like Rimmel has a moussey foundation. It's not quite like that where it's like thick, but it's sort of along those lines. It gives you a very full coverage look. I would say more full coverage than the Super Stay, but not a whole lot because I do feel like they're both full coverage. This one I just feel like packs more of a punch, but you can't always find this one at the Dollar General. So if you can get it. If not, I would stick to the Fit Me or the Super Stay. And then Wet n Wild also makes very good foundations. I like the general photo focus foundation, but I also like the dewy one. I prefer the dewy one. This one, the nice thing about it, has a paddle, so you can just kind of wipe the paddle on your face, blend it all in, and bam, there you go. So it's kind of nice if you only have a beauty blender. It sort of like helps work with you in that way. I think this is a really nice foundation, and it's only like $5. So if you're trying to stay on the cheaper side and you can find that foundation, I would go with that one over the Maybelline ones because I feel like it gives you a nice look. You can do a lot with it. All of these products work well under makeup and underneath a lot of the other stuff you put on top of it, but this one would just be the best for your money, so that might be the best option to go with. For powders, I have the Maybelline Fit Me Matte and Poreless Pressed Powder. I don't currently have that in my stash. I used to, but I've kind of cycled it out. That one is good. CoverGirl also has one that's in a pink compact that you sort of open it. I might be spoiling something, but you open it like this kind of a thing. That one is also really good. I've used the translucent in that, but I would also recommend it in like your skin tone. Like if you can do fair to light, light to medium, medium to deep, or medium to dark, dark to deep, whatever it may be. I would recommend those. I feel like those are really nice powders. They're very nice and they don't really mattify things a whole lot. They sort of just kind of tone things down a little bit. So you're not going to have those oils and grease coming up and really kind of ruining and like, you know, making your makeup just kind of like drool and drench down your face and like sweat, you know, you don't want to sweat off your makeup. But I recommend those. And then for loose powders, I really like the Maybelline Fit Me powder. This is one that like everyone here on YouTube loves. I have mine in the shade Fair, which I believe is the lightest shade, and there's a lot of powder in this, so you can definitely keep using it for a very long time. You can bake with this. You can use a brush and just kind of like sweep it on. You can sort of bake but then like brush it in if you have like a beauty blender or a makeup puff or anything along those lines. You can do that as well. The Wet n Wild Photo Focus loose powder is also really good. I have this in translucent, and I've also heard the banana is very good if you can use the banana. Some banana is more, you know, for us girls that have fair to light skin colors, and you can kind of make it more versatile. Others are more for girls that can use this kind of yellow. So it just kind of depends. You just kind of have to eyeball it, see which one will work best for you. But I do recommend this one as well. And they also smell really good, so that's kind of a plus. For bronzer, I would recommend the LA Colors bronzer. This is in the shade Beach Babe. Some Dollar Generals do have LA Colors. I find that most of them do because it's sort of on the cheaper spectrum, so they tend to have it more often. I would recommend this. It's a really nice color. It gives you a contour and a bronze. I'm not currently wearing it today. I'm just kind of showing you up to my face. You can kind of see like how it would work. Sort of looks like it would match up on my forehead there. But I feel like this would be really good. I think they have like 3 or 4 different shades. Now, again, if you are on the deeper side or even like super, super light, you might not be able to find very many options. And I do apologize that I don't have a whole lot of suggestions for you there. It's just I don't really buy for super light, or I also obviously don't buy for darker skin tones. So I'm not 100% sure. Most of these have a good like a fair range of shades that you can pick from. I just don't think LA Colors does have a very big shade range. So unfortunately, you'd have to find some other option. Moving on to blush, I have 2 options. The first one is the Wet n Wild Color Icon blush. I have the shade Pearlescent Pink. This is a really nice one. It has a little bit of like a pearl sheen to it. You can kind of see that it gives you like a nice little highlight if you want it. I think this is a really nice one, and it's also like $3. So you can't really beat that because it's just so cheap. I also recommend the Maybelline Fit Me blush. I have the shade Coral. This one I believe is like $4 to $5. These I think are a little bit less good than the Wet n Wild, but they're still a very good product. If you don't drop them on the floor, which luckily I didn't, but I almost did. But they're really nice. They're really nice and subtle if you don't like an intense blush, if you want something that you have to work up to, or just like for a beginner kind of thing, this would be a good option for you. And they do have a lot of shades in this. So if you can find a lot of shades, you have like some options. Wet n Wild does have some, but I don't think they have as many as the Maybelline one does. For highlighter, this should be a no-brainer. I would recommend the Wet n Wild Mega Glow highlighting powders. I have almost every single color of these that they've ever come out with. I've gotten rid of a couple of the rando weird colors, which I kind of wish I wouldn't have. But I have this one here is Golden Flower Crown, and this one here is Bloom Time. You can see that this one's a little more golden. This one's a little more pinkish peachy. You can pick ones that are a little bit more like pearlescent or champagne-y if you want to go that route, or ones that are a little bit deeper if you can go with something a little bit deeper if you have a deeper skin tone. I think these are really nice highlighters. They pack a big punch. They're very nice, very easy to work with, and they're also easy to tone down with some powder if you need to. Plus, they're like $5 too, so it's a great option for you there. Okay, next up, we're moving on to brows, and I don't have it on me. I just actually decluttered mine because I used it all up. It is the Maybelline Express Brow Ultra Slim Defining Eyebrow Pencil. Now, that is the kind, let me show you one. The one I have here is the LA Girl, which is $4 at Ulta if you can find an Ulta. But this one is similar to the Maybelline Express Brow, that it has the twist up and then you get to the brow product inside it. It's similar in the shape and the size to this one as well. And they also do have a spoolie at the end if you're interested in using both of those or something like that. I've never tried any of the eyebrow gels that they would have at Dollar General, so I can't offer any of those to you, but this I feel like is a good place to start to help you draw on your eyeshadows or your eyebrows if you need to. It can help you fill in your brows, and it can just kind of help you define the shape of them just to keep them looking a little bit nicer. You're not going to be able to do like a nice laminated brow or something a little bit fancier than just drawing them in. Like this is just drawing them in, so you're not going to get anything fancier, but I feel like it's a nice place to start, and then you can always work up from there. Plus I've heard the Vaseline may work decently well if you use the spoolie in it. So there's your nice tip for the day. For eyeshadow primer, I've recommended the Wet n Wild Photo Focus eyeshadow primer. I don't currently have that on me. It comes in a tube similar to this. So if you're interested in checking that out, I believe it's a white tube with a black cap. That one works fairly well. I don't think it's the best one on the market, but I think it works decently well. You can also use your concealer, but your concealer is going to tend to make your makeup kind of, it's going to bring out the creases in your eyes a little bit. It might bring out some of the oils. It's not going to help combat that quite as well. But if you don't usually have that kind of a problem, it's not something you have to worry about. But anyone can have a greasy eyelid, and you don't have to be dry skin, oily skin, combination skin. Anyone can have it. So just kind of a tip there. And I also just realized I didn't include my concealer. So my concealer suggestion is the Maybelline Instant Age Rewind Concealer. It helps cover up dark circles, any kind of fine lines you might have. You can also contour with this if you get a shade that's deeper. So that might work if you can't find a bronzer or a contour in your shade. You can switch up to a concealer and kind of just go in here. It comes with this little sponge, which I would just recommend tap, 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 and then you use another product like a brush or a sponge to kind of blend it in, or your finger. Obviously, I'm not going to do that with these fake nails, but you can always go that route too if your fingers don't have as sharp fake nails and stuff. So I would recommend this one. I also like the Fit Me concealer from Maybelline. It comes in a tube. You pull it out and it's a doe foot. I think that one works really well. It's a very lightweight, kind of watery texture, like consistency. And I don't mean watery as in like it's going to come out runny, but I think it's a little liquidier than the Instant Age Rewind comes out. So that's always something to keep in mind. And you can also get that one in deeper tones as well if you need that. Moving back to the eyes, the eyeshadow I would recommend is the Wet n Wild Color Icon eyeshadow palettes. They have ones that are in, I think, like a 16 pan. You can get a 10 pan. You can also get these 5 pan. I've tried the 10 pan and I don't personally like them, but I know other people on YouTube here do like them. So I feel like it's just kind of based off preference. You can go that route. LA Girl or LA Colors also has eyeshadow palettes, but I don't really think they're good either. I don't think they don't show up as well in the eyes. They don't really do anything for you. You kind of have to work a lot with them to get them to show up. So if you want to give them a try because they're cheap, go ahead. But I wouldn't personally recommend them. I've used them, didn't like them, didn't really hold on to them very long either. They got decluttered very quickly from my collection. So that's something you can keep in mind there. But these I would recommend. This one is in the shade, what is this one called? I don't know what this one's called, but this one is Sundays. Yeah, this literally doesn't have the colors listed on it. This is Sundays, and this one is a little bit more on your reddish, orange, goldish side. So this would be good for fall or good for any kind of bright, like poppy look you want to do. And then this one is a little bit more subdued with browns, and then there's a pink in here. I mean, this kind of looks a little pink, you can see. This one is good if you want to do just kind of a basic look similar to what I did here today. You can also sort of do that with this one, with this orange, but I feel like it's just a little bit more bright and bold. There's a big range there, and they're only like $4 to $6. So it's a pretty decent range for you. For eyeliner, I would recommend the Wet n Wild Breakup Proof Liquid Eyeliner. It looks like this. It has the nice sharp, little like stick one thing. I just drew it on myself. That's nice. It doesn't come off very well. It kind of, I don't know if it's waterproof. Okay. It says it's waterproof apparently. So it's waterproof and it stays on very well. It's easy to work with. I have a horrible time with eyeliner. This is the easiest eyeliner I've ever used. I do like the ones that come up in the twist up similar to like an eyeliner or an eyebrow pencil, but sometimes those can be a little bit difficult to work with. I've used some from Maybelline that once they were on, they didn't move, which is which isn't a bad thing, but then it's very hard when you've gotten all the way through your makeup look and then you're going to start the eyeliner and then you mess it up and then you might as well just cry in bed the rest of the day because your makeup looks shot. So I don't know that I'd recommend those, but you can try them out if you want to. I've used some of the ones that are more colored, like the white one, and I think there's like a blue one I've tried, and they're pretty decent. I feel like they work well if you want to just do some fun makeup looks for like Halloween, or if you do any kind of cosplay or anything like that. That's always something you can try out. But those are the ones I would recommend. As far as mascara, I know lately the Maybelline Sky High mascara has been very popular. It's nice if you want volume, but it's not going to give you curl. It's not going to help define your lashes in any way. It's just going to give you like nice straight long lashes. So if you're interested in that, you can check that out. It's highly popular right now. So that's something you can always, like, if you want to stay trendy, that's something you can use. I would personally recommend the Maybelline The Falsies Lash Lift. It looks like this in a really cute silver and purple tube, and it has this kind of a wand. If you want a lid that's going to give you definition, curl, and volume, you're going to want to go for something in an hourglass shape. So this is the one I would recommend. I always use the shades Blackest Black, Black, Dark Black. This is in the shade Blackest Black. But if you want something a little more subdued, you can get black or something a little bit lower than that, or even brown. Some mascaras do come in brown. I think the Sky High one does as well. So you can always check that out. But this is the one I would recommend if you can find it. I know sometimes mascaras are hard to find. I would also recommend, CoverGirl has one. I believe it's the Lash Blast. I think it's in either a green or an orange tube. I think it's the orange tube. That one is really popular. I think that one's good for curl. So I'd recommend that one as well. If you can't find the Maybelline one, I would suggest that one because that one typically is in Dollar Generals. I believe the Sky High one would be because it's a lot more popular now that they kind of find the need to want to put it in there, so then people buy it from them, but you never know. For lips, I recommend the Wet n Wild Gel Lip Liner. I have the shade Lay Down the Mauves. So it's one that twists up. It kind of like retracts up like that. It's real nice and smooth, easy to work with. I would also recommend the Maybelline lip liners that look similar to this where they twist up and everything. Those are really nice, and I think they're a little bit skinnier, but I just don't have any on hand right now to recommend. This is just the one I have to show you. For lipsticks, for a bullet lipstick that's going to come in like a little tube like this, Maybelline has the best ones. Wet n Wild has some that are good. If you find the ones in the white tube, again, they're going to look about this size. The white tube ones are going to be more glossy, a little bit more fresh looking, a little bit more like shiny. Those are typically the ones I would recommend over the ones in the black bullet, but they are really nice. You can find lots of nice shadows if you just want, or lots of nice colors. If you want something that's just gonna like give you some color and you're willing to reapply, you're willing to like keep checking on it, go for both of them. But I would just personally recommend the white tube over the black tube, just from personal experience. If you like a liquid lip liner, I would recommend the Superstay Matte Ink from Maybelline. It looks like this. Mine's real goopy because I've had it for a while because I love it. This is in the shade Seductress, and it has a really nice doe foot, very easy to shape around your lips. It lasts all day, and it's not too drying. It dries a little bit, so you will have that drying feel, but it's not as crazy as some other liquid lipsticks are. And if you want one that's a little bit less drying, I would also recommend the Maybelline Vinyl, the Superstay Vinyl. This is in the shade Captivated, and again, it has the same kind of doe foot. It's slightly different. It's kind of bent a little bit. It doesn't have quite as like the pointed look as the other one does. This one applies a little bit more wet looking, but it doesn't dry down quite as hard, but it does dry down pretty well. So I would definitely recommend both of those. And then for for lip gloss, I cannot get lip product right ever to save my life. I'm sorry. For lip gloss, I would recommend the Maybelline Lifter Gloss. This is in the shade Ice, which is 002. I've also tried out ones that are a little bit more red, ones that are a little bit more neutral looking. This is just the one I pulled out of my collection. It looks like this. It's almost a nude, but you can see it has a little bit of a pink tint to it. So if you have sort of like a pink lip or a brown lip and you want to go a little more pinky, you can go with like this type of shade. But these are really nice lip glosses. They give a nice gloss. They stay on for a while and they smell really good too. So that's always something to recommend. And as far as setting sprays go, I don't have any of the setting sprays I could recommend to you, but I would recommend the Wet n Wild Photo Focus setting sprays. They have natural, I think they have dewy, and they also have matte. I have used those a ton in my years of doing makeup, and I would recommend all of them. I think the natural one kind of looks the best. It's not too mattifying, not too fresh and like glossy looking and not too dewy on your skin, but it gives you like a nice, it draws out your natural oils and just makes you look like pretty and like your makeup is natural and you're not wearing a ton of makeup all caked in on your face. But yeah, I think that one's pretty good. Let me know if you have any other suggestions, any stores you want me to cover. I don't really have any Walgreens or Rite Aids to try out. They've kind of been phased out of my area, but generally they have a lot of what Walmart has, so you can kind of just go off of that. Sometimes they have extra products. Like I know CVS as a drugstore has extra makeup products that aren't brands you see at Ulta or Sephora, which honestly Sephora doesn't usually have these brands, or Walmart, but I don't usually test out some of those brands just because sometimes they're a little too pricey. They're not what I'm looking for. I've never heard of them and I don't want to spend my money, whatever the reasons are. But if you have any suggestions, feel free to put them in the comment section. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Ring that notification bell down below so you get notified when I upload my next video. Stay tuned for that one, guys. Thank you for watching this one. I'll see you then. Bye.